How many times did they actually, her poking Caitlin Clark in the eye? And that really had me thinking, like, damn, how many times did they actually, drop the ball and didn't call stuff against Caitlin? Now, Caitlin got called for a technical for hitting the back of the backboard, but somebody viciously clotheslined her. We're not getting a call for that.
The WNBA refs must think they're running a comedy show because their calls on Caitlin Clark are straight up clown behavior. These refs wouldn't know a fair call if it hit them in the face. 1 second, Caitlin's getting body slammed with no whistle. The next, she's sneezing. And boom, technical foul. But here's the real kicker. They just got caught pushing an agenda. And the evidence is downright embarrassing. Buckle up because this mess is about to get exposed.
They need to be investigated ASAP. We see what's happening with Caitlin Clark. There's no reason you shouldn't be protecting your star player. Because without Caitlin Clark, there won't be no sold-out arenas.
The WNBA refs really thought they could just skate by after what they pulled last season. Oh, they really believed nobody was going to notice how they treated Caitlin Clark like some random gym class participant while every other player got NBA-level superstar calls. They were out here calling fouls if somebody even looked at other players wrong. But Caitlin, she could get tackled, tripped, clotheslined, and the refs would just stand there like they were watching a Broadway performance.
I don't want to see none of the calls being missed like we seen last year, bro. These referees have to get it together. Now, we know the Indiana Fever front office did everything they had to do, put the right pieces around Caitlin Clark, make sure they make it far in the playoffs, and possibly get a WNBA championship. Well, that part is done. We got a new team. We got a new coach. They got everything they need to do to take off for the 2025 season. The only thing left is these WNBA referees. This need to be talked about, just like it was supposed to be talked about at the conclusion of that season. And I'm back on a bumper, bro. I am not letting up on them damn WNBA referees because they are the biggest haters.
It was like they had a secret handbook titled How Not to Call Fouls for Caitlin Clark. Opponents would literally be practicing their WWE finishing moves on her, and the refs would just shrug like, she'll be fine. Meanwhile, if Caitlin so much as breathed in the direction of another player, boom, whistle, technical, free throws. Somebody call security because apparently exhaling near an opponent is now a flagrant foul.
The offensive fouls are definitely surprising at times. I feel like I do get held.
She sold this flop perfectly. I gotta tip my hat to it. Had her hand on her chest. Most people who flop, they always do the little face thing. And she sold it perfectly. I gotta give it to her. Here's like a play from a different game. Watch Caitlin's reaction.
Excuse me, they got it on Caitlin Clark.
She wanted to really call out the rest.
There were games where Caitlin got fouled so hard, it looked like she was auditioning for a stunt double role in an action movie. Arms flying, bodies hitting the floor, defenders treating her like a human bumper car. But the refs? They were out here looking at the Jumbotron like, that's just good defense.
The viewership on TV would not be like it is now, where everybody's watching it because it's must-watch TV. But we are seeing how she's being treated. She's being pushed around, she's being slapped around, sometimes she's being punched around, and the fouls just keep getting harder and harder.
And let's talk about consistency, or the complete lack of it. One game, a defender can hip-check Caitlin into another time zone with no call. The next, some random role player gets their shoelace stepped on, and the refs are sprinting in like lifeguards at a pool yelling, "And one!" The double standard was wilder than a rookie trying to guard a veteran in the post. But the best part? The refs never explained anything.
You have to be great as a ref. You have to be consistent. You have to. It can't be inconsistent. It can't be AAU refs.
No accountability, no acknowledgement, just pure gaslighting. Caitlin would get hit harder than a quarterback in the pocket. Stand up looking for justice. And the refs would be halfway down the court pretending they didn't hear a thing. At this point, she needed to bring a body cam to games just to get some evidence. Let's not forget the times she got called for offensive, fouls for simply existing, dribbling, offensive, cutting through the lane, offensive, looking at the basket, offensive. It's like the refs woke up every morning and decided, how can we make Caitlin Clark question reality today?
The referees,
and them not calling fouls like this one last night. Let's just check it out. There's going to be a drive down the court here, right? And we've got another clothesline from hell. This time, Marina Mabry on Caitlin Clark.
And of course, social media caught everything. The refs may have thought they were slick, but the internet doesn't forget. Every missed call, every obvious foul, every moment Caitlin got mugged on the court. It was all documented like an episode of a crime show. The WNBA got dragged so hard that even people who didn't watch basketball were chiming in like, wait, how is this legal? The WNBA refs was so bad last season, you'd think they were flipping coins at halftime to decide who they're gonna punish next. And surprise, Caitlin Clark ended up on the short end of the stick more times than anyone can count. These refs weren't just bad. They were on a mission. A secret society of whistleblowers, determined to make sure Caitlin Clark never had a peaceful night on the court. But now, the league is investigating them, and it's about time. Because let's be honest, half of these refs wouldn't even get hired to officiate a middle school basketball game. And yet, they were out here making calls like they had a personal vendetta against Clark. The most infamous example? The now legendary eye poke from DJ Carrington.
She been going through the trenches this year. They've definitely been,
But you see how the hand starts out like this, and then she goes down and says, I'm poking this bitch in the eye. Let's see you make a three-pointer with one eye,
But again, that goes back to that. If you want to be the greatest, you got to deal with the hate and the haters, and the people that are doing dirty shots and trying to take you out. That's normal.
It's what Jordan went through, right? It's what Jordan went through.
For sure.
She had a black eye.
Ah yes, the eye poke. A moment so absurd it deserves its own Hall of Fame exhibit. DJ Carrington practically stuck her whole hand into Caitlin's face like she was trying to find the last Pringle in the can. And what did the refs do? Absolutely nothing. Not a whistle, not a review, not even a hey, maybe don't assault people on live television. Nope, they let it slide like they had just watched the slowest, most obvious foul in history and decided, we've seen worse. Meanwhile, Caitlin breathes near a defender, and the refs are already blowing their whistles like a lifeguard spotting a shark. Illegal screen, offensive foul, breathing too hard, looking at an opponent the wrong way. They called everything on her except an actual travel, which, let's be real, is ironic considering half the league treats the rule book like a bedtime story they stopped reading in 6th grade. And now, the league is actually looking into this. You mean to tell me somebody finally realized, hey, maybe our referees shouldn't be out here officiating like they have personal beef with a rookie? Maybe someone in the WNBA office actually watched the games and thought, seems a little suspicious.
Prime example, what really made me start thinking about this was what's the DJ Carrington situation. Yesterday, I did a DJ Carrington video kind of breaking down that whole thing, technical on that. They didn't call nothing on that for her poking Caitlin Clark in the eye, and that really had me thinking like, damn, how many times did they actually...
The crazy part? Some of these refs might not be back next season. And honestly, that's the best news Caitlin Clark has gotten since she signed her first endorsement deal. Because if these refs get replaced, maybe, just maybe, she'll finally get a fair game, where she isn't treated like she committed a crime just for existing on the court. But let's not get too excited. Knowing the WNBA, they'll probably just replace them with new refs who still hate Caitlin, just with different names. Maybe they'll even bring in refs from other sports. Imagine a soccer ref showing up and giving Clark a red card for flopping when she gets actually tackled in the paint. The WNBA refs must have selective vision because Caitlin Clark was getting hacked like an old email, and they just stood there like NPCs. Chennedy Carter practically tackled her mid-game, and the refs were like, play on! Meanwhile, if Caitlin so much as breathes too hard on defense, whistle. And the best part? The flagrant on Carter didn't even come during the game. Nope, it took the league reviewing it after everyone went home to finally admit, oh yeah, maybe that was a foul. You don't say?
We saw the play in the third quarter where Carter kind of decked you. How do you respond to that and stay within yourself?
I feel like I'm just at the point where you accept it and don't retaliate. Like, just let them hit you, be what it is. Don't let it get inside your head. and know it's coming. I think at this point, like, I know I'm going to take a couple hard shots a game. It is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
The refs watched Caitlin get hit like she owed people money and decided to clock out early. At this point, they might as well let defenses bring folding chairs into the paint, because apparently anything goes. What's next? A ref handing out Gatorade to defenders mid-play? Caitlin could get shoved into the third row, and these refs would probably call her for delay of game. It's honestly impressive how bad they are at their job. Maybe they're watching a different game. Maybe they're still buffering. Either way, Caitlin's out here playing basketball, while the refs are playing How Blind Can We Be? And somehow they keep winning.
When are the refs going to do their job? As a matter of fact, when is the WNBA going to do their job? Because there should be some suspensions, check. There should be some fines, check. And you should be setting an example for your star player. Because God forbid this young lady gets hurt.
This season, things are about to get real ugly for anyone thinking they can just body Caitlin Clark like last year. Because guess what? The WNBA finally has a police officer on the court, and her name is Sophie Cunningham. You thought you were going to cheap shot Clark and walk away whistling? Not on Sophie's watch. She's the self-appointed security guard, enforcer and personal bodyguard all rolled into one. If you even look at Caitlin wrong, Sophie's already got you in a headlock, whispering sweet nothings about how she's got 50 hard fouls ready to go. And then there's Caitlin Clark herself, who apparently hit the gym like she's preparing for the WWE. Whatever. Off-season workout she did. It wasn't just about jump shots. It was about making sure she didn't get tossed around like a rag doll this season.
All right, guys, we're starting a little TikTok weight room vlog. I'm gonna show you what we do.
Get the butt down. Good.
Okay, speed. Okay, speed.
She's not just taking hits anymore. She's delivering them. Try and bump her now, and suddenly you're the one hitting the floor. The scouting report said, attack her defense. Now they're saying, maybe let's rethink that. But let's not forget the real villains of the WNBA, the refs. These guys have been moving like they got direct deposits from whoever Clark's opponents are. Last season, they were handing out missed calls like free samples at Costco. This year, no different. If you breathe in Caitlin's direction, it's a no call. But the second she blinks too aggressively, offensive foul. It's almost impressive how consistently bad they are. They'd probably miss a foul even if a player pulled out a steel chair mid-game.
WNBA refs are not consistent. A hit to the arm on one play is a foul, and a hit to the arm on another play is not a foul. The inconsistency is really, 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 really bad for this league, especially with all these players you got coming in. You got Caitlin leading it, right?
You'd think with all the drama from last year, the league would have brought in some competent officials. But no, we're back with the same crew who somehow make every single game look like a crime scene. And Cunningham is done with it. She's not even arguing calls anymore. She's just taking matters into her own hands. If the refs won't do their job, Sophie's gonna do it for them. You elbow Caitlin? Cunningham's coming off the top rope. You hit her with a cheap screen? Congratulations. You just got selected for a surprise wrestling match. And the best part? Caitlin's loving every second of it. She's not shying away from contact anymore. She's initiating it. That little bump from a defender that used to throw her off? Now she's standing there like a brick wall, barely moving while the other player stumbles like they just got hit by a bus. She's been waiting all year to hand out payback. And she's not doing it politely. There's no more playing nice. If the refs aren't going to call it, she's just going to handle business herself. So now, the WNBA has a problem. A duo that's ready for war, Caitlin Clark, who's been lifting weights like she's training for the NFL Combine, and Sophie Cunningham, who's just looking for a reason to throw hands. And with refs who officiate games like they're watching them from the parking lot, things are about to get real interesting.
They're going to get Caitlin Clark hurt. And she's not going to be able to play. Can you imagine? It's unbelievable. It really is. I hope before the season starts next year, this gets straightened out. Or we'll be right back here cooking everybody all season long next year.
The WNBA refs better come correct this season because the Indiana Fever are not here to play around. Caitlin Clark just landed in the league, And she's already the biggest thing since sliced bread. If the refs think they're going to get in the way of her, MVP season and the Fever's championship run, they might as well start filling out job applications now. We saw what happened last year. The refs were out there making calls like they had money on the game. Whistles flying for no reason. Traveling calls that didn't exist. Phantom fouls appearing like ghosts in a haunted house. It's almost like they had a personal vendetta against fun. But not this year, oh no. This year, Indiana is here to dominate. And Caitlin Clark is about to put these refs to work. Caitlin is stepping on that court with one mission: cook everybody in her way. And we all know the WNBA is notorious for some of the most questionable officiating on the planet. Some of these refs couldn't officiate a game of tic-tac-toe without reviewing it for 10 minutes. If Caitlin drives to the hoop and gets hacked, we better not hear silence. If she drains a deep three and gets run over, that whistle better sound like an alarm clock.
Indiana Fever. They've re-signed Kelsey Mitchell. They keep Lexi Hall. Obviously, they got Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston. They bring in 3-time WNBA champion Natasha Howard. They bring in the 4th leading scorer in WNBA history, DeWanna Bonner. Indiana said we here. I don't know how else to explain it.
The league is better when she's dominating, and everybody knows it. So to the WNBA refs, get it together, call the game fairly, and let Indiana cook. Or else be prepared for an entire fan base to come for your jobs. Bottom line, the refs last season were a disaster. The league is finally acknowledging it. And next season could actually be different. But will it? That remains to be seen. One thing's for sure. Though Caitlin Clark's greatest opponent this season wasn't even a player. It was the officials. And for once, they might be the ones getting benched. WNBA refs really thought they could get away with it. But guess what? Everybody saw it. Everybody knows. And next season, they better come prepared, because if Caitlin Clark so much as gets bumped without a call, the internet is going to be on them faster than a defender trying to guard. Her step back three. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.